Howdy folks, Grok the DuckFarmer here, and I'm on the FTOG All the Mods 4 server, and my base here is looking kind of bare. All those machines there, and the stuff that was, whoops, there's the elevator, the stuff that was down here, all gone, and I just repaired the floor because it had a whole bunch of missing blocks there from where I had stuff. So that's all gone. I still have my base. These are mostly decorative. I don't really do those. Those are still there. What else do we got? All the crafting stuff for the automation for the farm is down there, and I pulled out a lot of the mystical agriculture things out of there because this has been giving me too much grief as far as corrupted blocks. And hello trader, got anything interested in eternal vigilance? Ooh, lifeman, that's new. Sharpness, I think I already got a sharpness. Yes, I did. Okay, so I don't need that. Bye. Did you actually trample that? No, I don't think you did. Anyway, I mean, so yeah, I'm leaving this area for my hilltop area over there. In fact, let's swing on by that direction and show you what I have done. And I've been going back and forth a whole bunch recently. So this is where my portal block is up here. And yes, I went ahead and replaced my bulk alloy furnace, crusher, and regular furnace stuff here with my output that sucks it back into the refined storage crafting. And then I've got the fluid extractor, the latex processor, and the dissolution chamber. Is that full? It is full. So, well, here, let's grab another thing of dark oak. Dark oak. Grab one of you because, you know, why not? There, that can start doing its thing. It's set to go here with a higher priority than this one. So, but since this is the only one here, it'll go ahead and do its thing. Anyway, that's going on here. I've got a crafter here, a crafter behind it that you can't see. There's my setup as far as remote access. And yeah, I've got a remote access right there. How far away is it? It's 13 blocks because I'm too lazy to run any cables. And if I can avoid running cables, I will avoid running cables. So I've got compacting drawers here for my redstone and gold and iron. There's a couple others I'd like to set up, and I'll go ahead and plop them there as my block placer for making living rock and whatnot. All that good stuff. Let's go down. And I've got my refined storage access stuff here, and then this is the manual insert for doing all this work. So I like, you know, if I want to smelt some stuff, like I just needed a stack of nether brick from nether rack, and so I just dropped it right in there and it processes it right through. Plus I've got a few of the patterns for making things there. And so it's all hooked up very nicely. That works. Got my little living quarters over here. Botania stuff, you've all seen that already. Let's go down one. I was talking about setting up a area for doing a farm, and I wanted to be up a little bit higher, so that's why I have this set up here. And there's obviously a trader right out there through that wall. And this has been working like gangbusters. It's currently off. In fact, let me turn that off because there's no sense for this to actually tick. Oh, I did update this to the Imperium, so it's a 9x9 because this is a 9x9 area here. We've got the controller here that's telling it, similar like I did, the sludge is getting processed, energy is going around, all the stuff that is going into the plant gatherer. The stuff that can go, let's go down one block, the stuff that can go into this drawer controller gets sent into the drawer controller first, and if it can't go there, then it gets sent into the plant sower, and it goes ahead and plant stuff. And then power, and there's the sludge refiner, because that way I can have just one connector, and I'm using 4 sides of it, which use them up. The remote access here, and happily we can do the remote access to these drawer controllers, and that works for the refined storage. So I've been throwing a bunch of stuff in here just to make a bunch of resources, make sure I've got stuff on hand. And I just realized I don't have much by way of redstone or iron. I'm going to change that. Let's change that real quick. So I've got all my seeds here. Yep, you are redstone. Let's do one of those. And iron is kind of this colory. Where's my iron? Do I have an iron? I'm not sure I actually have an iron seed. How do I have... Huh. I'm not sure I actually have an iron seed. But because the upstairs I've got that portal block, that actually loads this chunk, which means this runs while I'm not away. So I'm only putting the one seed in, and that'll give me lots and lots. Oh, I have to fly over here, then go up. Alrighty, so that's kind of a rundown of what's been done. And it's been working very nicely. It took a while for me to figure out how to set this up because I just have the one floor. I can't do anything with these blocks here because they're visible from outside. And none of the facade sort of blocks seem to be working right now. So I want to avoid those. I did, just for symmetry, I went ahead and made the crafting monitor that tells me what crafts are going on. And just so that it looked pretty good. And over here, I don't remember if I actually had this done the end of the last episode, but this is all up and back and doing its thing. And because this is a completely separate chunk from over there, this does have refined storage in it. In fact, if we go, doink, yep. See, it's got the refined storage in it. But because it doesn't have the rest of the Botania stuff, it seems to be working really well. And if I turn on the lights, it's not corrupted. It's still got the lights. That makes me very, very happy. And I have lots of sugarcane. I put sugarcane all around my little island here. So that way I can take my backpack and pull out my little everlasting gobstopper, and you see it's almost got 1,000 because yeah, I was able to grab lots of sugarcane. Alrighty, so one of the things that people probably noticed if they've been looking at my inventory, I've got some stuff set up here, and we're going to take a little bit. You also probably looked at the title of this episode. Entropinnyum. If we take a look at the Entropinnyum, oh, here, let's get rid of recessive. There, TNT times. The Entropinnyum is a flower from Botania that will eat the explosions of TNT and generate mana. And they generate quite a lot of mana, which is really, really handy. So that's what I'm wanting to do. I want to go ahead and make that. And to finish that, I need Wrath. Let's make a Rune of Wrath, and that needs these bits. I just made some of these mana diamonds, and we'll start that. Come over here. You can see it's doing its work. Mana's pulled over, and then it's done. It spits out the other bits because it doesn't consume the runes. I love that. So now I can get my last Wrath. There we go. Hey, you're supposed to stack. That would be nice. All right, let's make some of these runes. So it's one of you, two of you, two of you, two of you, and a seed. And there's the Entropinnyum. And I've got a bucket, and you can just toss a bucket onto there, and that will work, which is really, really cool. And I waited too long. So let's see. One of you, two of you, two of you, two of you, one of you. Yay. Bucket. Bucket. Right click, or just right click. Ah, that's so nice. Done. All right. Oh, yes. Right click with the empty hand. And seeds. Nope. Drop the seeds. There we go. So there's my 4 Entropinnyum. And I like to leave that on. Let's put that there. Because I want to set up something that will blow up nicely the Entropinnyum without destroying everything else. And I also want to keep it away from this chunk just because I want to keep it separate. So that's what we're going to do. This is the base structure. And there was a chat in Discord about the Entropinnyum, and I threw out a picture. If I remember, it'll appear right here. This picture here showing some distances between the Entropinnyum. You need about 6, 7, 5, something blocks like that from TNT from exploding anything. And the Entropinnyum have this huge range. It's like 11, 12 blocks. So they don't have to be right there. But I'm going to do something different. So I always like setting up the collection and processing and then actually the distribution. So here's the chest, and there's all the bits and pieces that are going to be used. Let me grab these 3. I went ahead and made, oops, going to do it in the other order. I like having velocity first. It means nothing, but with potency and velocity, it means nothing. Velocity, you spit out mana faster, but smaller amounts. Potency means you spit out bigger globs of mana that travel slower. But between the two of them, you get a much faster delivery because the increase is counterbalanced by a small decrease. And so, you know, that works. Anyway, and with the, I want you to go up here. With a slime ball, you can combine these lenses. And so that's what I've got here. All right, let's go ahead and snag all of these bits. And I just put them back up so they would come down in the same order. No, I'm going to make all my Entropinnyum floating Entropinnyums just because that makes life a whole lot easier. And I like the look of those. So right here, this is the mana pool that the Entropinnyums are going to feed into. And the first thing I want to do is put a recessive spark on that pool. If we click this, let me move this direction. If you right click this with the wand, it tells you all the mana sparks that it's connected to, and that one doesn't matter because that's building, you know, spells and whatnot. But the 4 up top and all of the ones down below, the 9, 13 down there, all of them are connected with this. So that's, at least I think they're all connected. Looks like quite a lot, if not all of them are connected. So that's why I have it here. And if we look at the chunk, it's just outside of the chunk. So keeping it all in the same area. So recessive, click, there we go. And it will feed all the pools that do not have a recessive spark on them. So that's all of them except the middle one, and that's a dominant. So it grabs everything. All right, so that's the gathering. And I want 2 redstone comparators, dink-a-dink. And you can see, because this has a little bit of mana in it, it's actually turning this on. And I'm going to put a redstone torch right there. When the torch is off, stuff is going to stop. So that's how I'm going to do that. But I also want to, because these are comparators, I want to set it to a higher signal. So I'm going to put a lever here, turn it on, and I'm not seeing, oh, it's in the corner. This is power 15, that's power 14, so that is going to turn on. It doesn't say. This is like a power 1 probably right now. If we look at it, yeah, it's 1, it's teeny tiny. When this fills 14/15 full, then this will go ahead and it'll run through, it'll compare these two and say, yep, that's the same. Turn on the signal and turn off that redstone torch there. All right, now the next thing I want to do, yep, that's empty, good, gimme, because I want a chest right here. I don't want a chest right there. I want a chest up on this level, right there. Yes, that's where I want a chest. And there's my connectors. We'll put the connectors there, and let's crouch click these. There. All right, so this is connected to the redstone torch, the chest, and I want power and my XNet controller. And it really doesn't matter left, right, whatever you do with these. There we go. I do want to set this to out, and let's hook it up. There. I love being able to have lots and lots of power on this. All right, so this feeds the power here. Just by being next to it. And this has a whole bunch of connections here, which is fine. Block placers, because I'm going to be placing the TNT. The TNT I will feed into this chest. That's the source chest. And if I wanted to, I can put a redstone, not redstone, a XNet, a refined storage. I can put a crafter here, and and a remote network station that would feed the stuff in, so I could order some TNT, drop it in there, and let it do its thing. But there's enough. I don't really need to do that. I see that as a little bit overkill. Anyway, this is down one. Yes, it is. In that case, let's go ahead and put some temporary blocks here and grab these mossy. I decided because this is a Botania thing, I'd go with the mossy bricks. And let's put you there, and you there, and you there, and you there, and there, and there, and there, and there. All right. So, what I want is to have these block placers. Now, when you place them, they always face away from you when they place blocks. And it would be really, really nice if they would, let's go down a little bit more, if they would point up or down. And they do not. They only point horizontally. So I'm going to have one feed into that, feed there, there, I hope that worked, and there. Perfect. And they are going to be activated by redstone. So the redstone is going on the other side of this block. And now I can break the dirt and check to make sure that they are all pointing that way. And they are. All right, so TNT here will break and go down below. And we can test this by putting sand here and confirm that they will all drop down to these. Yep, they do. Perfect. That's exactly what we want. Actually, I'm going to leave the sand there. Nope. I'm going to break those because I want it to go a little bit further down. This is far enough down that any TNT exploding at that level should affect nothing. Maybe this tree. But who cares? I got lots of trees around here. I don't care about that. To protect the explosion, I'm going to go ahead and put this tempered glass. We look at it, immune to light explosions and withered blasts. And I want to be able to see. I could use obsidian too. And technically I am using obsidian, but it's just glass and obsidian to get these tempered glass. So let's put one underneath and then one block around each of these guys. Because this is where the dirt is, that's where the TNT is going to land in that little slot. Oh, no, not you. It's going to land right in that little slot. And then I'm going to put some glass right here. And obviously don't have enough, but that's okay. The reason for that is if a TNT, say a TNT has landed here, and another one is coming down and it's about here when this explodes, I don't want it to be thrown away and you'll go launched off in that direction. So I've got this little here, it keeps it close together, and as long as it lands in that little slot, then if this explodes while that one's sitting there, it goes nowhere. You know, it's one of those little bit of protections. If I were extremely cautious, I would put columns up all the way up to the top. And that way the TNT can only fall down in that slot, and that's it. I'm not carrying that much, so I won't. All right, let's configure. Let's look at this for a quick second. Yeah, that's everything we need as far as dispensing out the TNT. So let's go ahead and do that right now. I need to extract, well, let's make energy channel, and I want to extract from the block placer. We'll insert it to every place that needs power. There we go. And that's simple, done. Then I want to sit there and make a redstone channel, and I think that's logic. So this would be a signal. Really doesn't matter. And I dislike how it, yeah, let's delete that one because I don't need that. I want to get a signal from this redstone torch. So let's create that. And if it is a redstone signal that is greater than 0, send a red signal out. So this obviously is greater than 0. This is the on. It'll send out a redstone signal. I should get a second lever so I can put it right here and just turn it off. I'll do that later. Anyway, so this one, redstone signal, if it's greater, if it's on, it's an output color of red. And this right here, I'm going to go ahead and say this is enabled on red. So that's going there. Next, we want to go ahead and do item. I don't think you're going to need that there, but we'll do this. This is the TNT. We're going to export that, and Charlie is climbing into a paper bag in the background, so hopefully you don't hear that, but maybe you do. This is going to be inserted, and inserted, and inserted, and inserted, and then we're extracting from the chest here. It says redstone. Yeah, it's that bug. I do want to slow it down. So 10 ticks is too fast. That's twice a second it'll try to dispense TNT around. That's too fast. 20 ticks, so once every second, that's better, but that's still too fast. I'm going to do 60. I wish I could do something like 40. That would be best of all, but it doesn't give me that option. Oh well. The other thing I want to do is change this overall priority. I don't want to send it by priority. I want to send it round robin. So when it comes from this chest, it will go one by one through each of these end options. And I want this extract to only happen on red. And I think this is the one that really, really governs it. It is enabled on this color of red. So when the red signal here is going, that turns it on. That should work. I originally had it on these, and that's not the way it's supposed to do. But that's it for channels. That should do it just fine. Now, I need some dummy blocks on here and there, because I'm going to put these elven mana spreaders around. And the recipe is fairly easy. You know, a petal or mushroom, elementium, which is 2 mana ingot, mana steel through the gateway, and living rock, living wood through the gateway becomes this dream wood. So it's a faster one of these spreaders. So I'm putting them here diagonally away from everything else. And I'm going to put on here the lenses. So you get a lens and you get a lens, because I want to speed up things as fast as possible. And I'm going to direct all of these to the pool, because I want all of them, you know, that they're focused right there, and as that gets mana, it's shooting it off over there. That's the plan. Now we can put in our Entropinnyums, and they're going to go at the cardinal directions. North, south, east, below, and above. A little cramped. All right. But I also want to make sure that each one of them has their own elven spreader. So let's go around the corner. You, now let's go you to you, and you, no. Okay. You, let's have you go to there, and you go to there, and then you're already there, and you go to there. Let's check. They're all going around. Yes, okay, perfect. So they're all going around. Each one is going to the one counterclockwise for it, so that each dedicated to a specific spreader. Do I have my monocle on? I don't have a monocle on. Let's get the monocle on, because that makes it really easy to see what's going on here. Boink. All right, these guys have a huge range. You see that? It's like 11, 12 blocks. It's huge, and it also goes down as well. So that's why they don't need to be down here where the stuff explodes. It's way too close, and you know, it's a pain enough to make these things, so don't need that. Alrighty, so that will gather the mana. This will tell it to shut off. Let's make another switch. Lever. I want cobble and a stick with an eye. There we go. Now it shows up. All right, let's make another one. I don't need you. I don't need you. Let's test that this will shut off. Oh, I should also grab some. There. So I can turn this off if I want. In fact, let's just put that up here so it's easier to see. So at this point, nothing should get dispensed. Oh, and of course I just tossed my all my building blocks. Of course I did. Sand, let's grab some sand, and let's actually make some TNT. And let's make a stack, because I've got lots of sand, and I've got lots of gunpowder, so that this is easily done. All right, so if I come over here, and this is off, 1, 2, 3, 4, and yes, I'm going to test with sand first. And nothing should happen because the signal is off. Now, if we look at these block placers, they run every 5 seconds, which is good. I don't want them to spit out the stuff super fast. And I've got the redstone here, so they instantly activate as soon as they spit out. So this is governing how fast they go out. So let's turn that off, and we should start seeing some sand getting placed. Yep, there's 1, 2, there's a third. This is not as fast as it really could be, but I'm okay with that. If I were on a different pack that had refined the RF tools in it, that has the network pieces in it, the network receiver, network transmitter, then I would set this up as doing, let's do the extraction. I would set it up as doing the round robin as a single, but I would also do it as fast as possible. So that would, if I put in, say, 40 TNT, each one should get 10. And that's just fine. But these, I would have pointy, and they would place a TNT block here, but instead of having block of redstone, I would have the network receiver, the redstone receiver, pointing into that block, and then the transmitter I would have on something like a 5-second cycle, and an hourglass would work just fine for doing that. So every 5 seconds there would be a pulse, and that would go through and run. Or actually, I could have the pulse be every second. You know, it would go much faster, and then every 5, because of these guys here, they would output. And so that would slow things down. But I don't have that capability here in this pack, so I won't. So let's test this. Let's take 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's do 8. And you see it, and there's no big explosion because it got consumed by that flower. And I'm curious, I think it's slow enough that pretty much a flower is picking them up. Okay, those are 2. So 2 flowers, there's the 2 flowers that are shooting it in. The third one is going to be picked up by the bottom one, it's the closest. So I'm a little overkill by having 4 flowers and the speed is a little bit slow, but I don't want to have any of them go through and explode. If all 4 were to drop simultaneously, I have 4 flowers here that would capture it. If I were super uber duper paranoid, I would go ahead and put 5 flowers here. 4 dispensers, 5 flowers, you're going to be fine. You know, because of the timing here, yeah, I would never have an issue. Why do I have 2 comparators when I could do it with 1 and do the same trick? Because this flower here, it accepts redstone signals. So if I had this redstone 1 block over, it would actually turn this off. And so now I've got 3 flowers instead of 4 here. I'm gonna toss in my stack of TNT. I can go ahead and start producing power for me. Thank you. Anyway, so that's why it's over, and I've got 2 of these here. to do that. And I'm not using a repeater because one, they don't get the comparator signal out, and if you have a repeater, it's max power, and I want to do a comparator here. What other things is going on with this? It's pretty compact, and if and I've played with this where if I drop something down faster than it actually can do, it doesn't matter because the explosions are far enough down. Let's grab a goo. So I'm going to swamp the system. Dangerous. We've got a little bit of lag stuff going on. Oh, it processed those all just fine. Maybe that one will explode. Nope. It's processing them faster than this is dispensing them. Maybe if I did 5 or 6 in a row really quick. Oh, let's do that. Because why not? Let's do a bunch real quick. There's 5. That should overwhelm the system. There we go. That's what we're looking for. They actually explode with violence when these guys have mana. The flowers have mana in them, which is why I upgrade the spreader and I put the lenses on there so they spit out as fast as possible. So these guys take about 2-3 seconds to spit the mana through. So that one just started and it's over. So that's about 3 seconds. And these fire off every 5. So that gives you, an idea that, yeah, there's plenty here. And this produces a lot of mana. A full stack of the TNT is like half a pool. So that's pretty fast, which is very nice. And it looks like these are mainly streaming to the top. There's a little bit going down below, but I really can't see where all that's going. Doesn't matter. It's doing really well. And when this we've already dispensed it all. When this is full, it will stop. It'll shut itself off. And we've already seen that. We tested that first. Always testing the shut off first. And that works really well. Okay, I'm going to make several stacks of TNT because we're going to push it through. Because why not? 1 stack, 2 stack, 3 stack. That sand can go away now. Don't need that anymore. So that is a pretty slick little flower for producing the mana. And so far from what I've been seeing here, it looks like they've pretty much all fallen into their little slot. Sometimes, because they kind of bump a little bit, especially if you just put down TNT and ignite it with a flint and steel, they kind of move like a third of a block around. And by having it surrounded by blocks, they pretty much fall straight in. In my testing in the creative world, sometimes they would land just up on one of these because they didn't slide right in, but they're still far enough away, there's no problem. And it looks, I blew up several of them here, and this is far enough away, or possibly these blocks are stopping the explosion from going through. So, yeah, this works. Like I said, if you're super paranoid, put these blocks all the way to the top, all the way around, so there's a channel going down, and that's it. And you're going to be safe. You aren't going to be blowing up your base. And even if this, like I forced it to, everything's fine. These Entropinnyum survive, and all my bits and junk and stuff up here survive. And I'm going to leave it like this, kind of bare bones, hanging all out there. It works. It seems to work really nicely. So there you go. Doing the Entropinnyum, automating that, and you get a huge amount of mana. You see those elven spreaders. I'm getting 2 of them, typically 1 or 2 of them firing off each round, pumping in a huge amount of mana into my system. And once the system fills up, it shuts off. That's the way to do it. As far as this is affecting the server, we've got mana spreaders. They are high tick. We've got falling TNT, which is an issue. I wouldn't build something like this and on a a heavily used server, I would probably build one set of these, but I'm not going to build like, 5 or 6 of these setups. That's overkill. That's just being greedy of the server ticks. So no, don't do that. But it should work out. Keeping everything far apart so it doesn't explode. Yep, works out really well. You can just see it just shooting all the mana over there. Very nice. Great. All right, this worked out as well as I hoped. Anyway, this has been Grok the Duck Farmer here, automating the Entropinnyum and taking advantage of TNT here on the FTOG All the Mods 4 server. And thanks for watching. Bye.